And we're back once again, only on its last call. Last call to alcohol, only on the lastcallpodcast.com. Joining me here on location, this man here will be fighting once again. It'll be June 19th, only on the zone. It is Misfits Boxing presents Ingram versus Cushing. And this man will be taking on Joey Barrero in a eight round scrap. And he hopes to make it 9-0 and continue his rise all the way in the rankings here. Introduce to you one of the as it, many people in boxing call him one of the rising young stars. I give you it is Dynamite David Lopez. So Dave, let's start off here with so you Barrero. What are the goals in this fight? I know winning is the big one, but like when you and your team have broken it down, like what do they want to see in terms of improvement from your previous fight?
My last fight, I got a second round TKO, so that's obviously something that's hard to top off. A lot of guys they want the win, but getting the KO is like the cherry on the top. So maybe if I could get it in the first round to make it even better. Obviously I don't go into fights looking for knockouts, but if the opportunity presents itself, best believe I'm gonna get the job done. Joey is a hell of a fighter. He's a power puncher. He comes from a family of great fighters. Tito Trinidad being one of the best fighters from Puerto Rico. Um, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm having a hell of a camp. My weight cut is starting, so we'll see what happens. But always tell my fans to expect explosive performance from me. So
I'm
expect
glad you
something
brought up
explosive.
the weight cut. Like when you say you're starting it, like how much, like before a fight, you start your fight camp. Like, is there a goal of like, all right, I don't want to be more than like 160 pounds or 170 pounds? Like, are there when you and your team break it down, like what's I guess the most weight they want to have you avoid cutting? Like more than 10, more than 15?
Uh, it's really no number to it, to be honest. As long as you're able to like manage the weight and like, I would say it goes by the fight. I know guys that lose 30 pounds, 40 pounds. It depends on who you are, but for myself, I try to keep it in the range of 10 to 15 pounds so that I don't feel like I am depleting myself. So yeah, I say anywhere around 10 to 15 pounds is where I try to like maintain that cut.
How do you do that? Because that's a tough thing in between fights. I mean, your last fight was back in December of 2025, so it's been 6 months. You get edgy, and like, all right. You
Yeah.
go out next thing you know, Taco Tuesday night. I'll have a couple of tacos. Or it's Easter, like, oh, I'll have some extra ham. I'll have some extra,
Yeah.
lamb. Like,
Just
how do you avoid just all of a sudden ballooning up where you're like, oh crap, I gotta
just
cut 30 pounds.
just living a healthy lifestyle. I feel like being a boxer, it's a lifestyle. It's not something you could just do on fight night. Like you have to dedicate your life to the sport. So and I feel like I picked up a lot of healthy habits being a fighter. I don't really crave too much junk food. Like obviously everybody has their moments, but everybody has their moments. But like for the most part, just wanting to have a healthy lifestyle will keep it to where like you don't gain too much weight in between fights.
So what's your healthy lifestyle? Because again, it's not like, you're this 30-year-old guy who's like, okay, really gonna, commit to the lifestyle. You're only 22. So like when you say,
Yeah.
hey, healthy lifestyle, like what are some of the things that you've either avoided eating or some of the things you focus on eating because it
Well, it's not
helps
it's
with
not just
muscle?
food. It's not just food. I would say taking care of my mental health, surrounding myself by the right people, and cutting out unnecessary distractions. I feel like a lot of people my age drink, smoke, party, do Lord knows what. So just being able to eliminate those things and have a healthy lifestyle, which for me consists of training, um, boxing training, eating healthy, and then obviously just surrounding myself by people that inspire me and motivate me to want to be a better version of myself.
So who is part of Team Dynamite David Lopez? Like who is the corner man, the cut man? Who are the people you surrounded yourself with to help you, as you said,
My head,
live a
my head
healthier
coach,
lifestyle?
my father, my nutritionist is also my dad, and I also have another nutritionist, Cameron Valier. This is his hat I'm actually wearing. Rude Boy Fitness and Nutrition. Hell of a chef. He makes good food. My brother comes and trains with me from time to time. I would say my friends that I hang out with outside of they keep me focused because they're into the same stuff. They're into their fitness, diets, and things of that nature. So just surrounding myself with like-minded people.
Take me to the chef. I mean, because again, as you said, your father's your nutritionist, he's your coach, but he allowed a different person to come in and basically make meals, help with nutrition, help with balancing diet. Like, how did you guys come about that? And how tough was that for him to go, all right, I'm letting go of some control because I trust you to help my son live a healthier lifestyle, become a world champion?
Uh, it's funny you say that. My dad is actually, I would say he's really my full-time nutritionist because our guy Cameron, like, we'll let him cook for me here and there, but like when we get closer to camp, I normally just crave what my dad makes. And I feel like my dad understands like my body and what I consume more than other people because like this is my dad we're talking about. So he probably understands me more than myself. So I would say I lean more toward like his cooking and his home cooked food for sure.
How do you separate the relationship? I mean, it's fighter and coach,
Mhm.
it's father and son. Those are two different relationships, and we've seen some of them work out, like the Mosleys, Andrades. We've seen some that haven't worked out because it's tough separating the two. So how do you and your father do it where when it's time for you to be father and son, it's father and son. When it's time for me to be coach and fighter, it's not personal. It's just business.
Yeah. Since we've been doing it for so long, I started boxing when I was 5. My dad has trained me all my life. I'd say boxing is like second nature for us. So like there's nothing where we have to adjust or do anything. It's like I'm just going to work with my dad and we box. It's like second nature. So it's really no changes or anything like that. Like my dad's a great father overall, outside of just being my trainer. And I feel like us pursuing my boxing dreams together only makes us closer. So it's a blessing to have my dad as a trainer. I'm glad he's able to be my trainer because I know he has my best interests and won't, you know, allow any funny business to happen to me.
Take me back to your last fight. I was just watching it. It was a second round knockout over Luis Garcia of a duty-free tennis stadium in Dubai.
Mhm.
What went right? Did anything go wrong at all from what you guys want to do? And how big was it of you when you look at it that when you had him, you didn't swarm him and get, tied up, that you didn't just overcommit?
Um, what do you mean by that?
Like I've seen it with a lot of young fighters. They hurt a guy, and next thing you know, they'll jump right in next, and the guy can survive because he'll grab, he'll hold. And when I
Mhm.
watched your knockout, he was never able to get a hold of you. He was never able to tie you up. You were always just in that perfect range where you
I could
could
get my
land your right
shots off.
hand, land a hook, and then he couldn't do anything. He couldn't tie up with you.
Yeah. Not to sound like a bad guy, but I feel like in sparring, when I hurt somebody, I practice putting my head on their chest and keeping them at bay so that I could be in position to land my power shots. So just applying realistic situations like I do in training and applying them to the fight helps me capitalize on moments like that and make sure I'm ready to like seal the deal when the opportunity presents itself.
It's easier to do in training camp because rather than a fight mode because the adrenaline rush. All of a sudden you're in a real fight. It counts. So mentally, how do you like get that approach of all right, I'm not gonna, rush in, I'm not gonna get, too excited. Like how do you tell yourself in camp, all right, when fight night comes, I have to be as calm as I am in sparring where I am in the fight.
Going into the fights, I always remember, I'm wearing tiny 8-ounce gloves, and it's almost like you're getting hit with a sword. So, any mistake you make, you'll pay for it, and you could possibly get cut, um, suffer a brain injury. It's a dangerous sport. So, going into fights, I'm always obviously putting my health first. So, I would say I have a defensive first mentality, but not so I'm like hesitant, but more so of just being a smart fighter. So I always just keep that in mind. I'm fighting with smaller gloves with other experienced fighters, and it's a lot at risk.
Take me back to the fight itself in terms of like Dubai, because it's one thing to fight, you yourself born in Oakland, California, you reside in Nevada, according to BoxRec. You're now flying across the country. You're fighting in a place where for years none of us thought was going to be possible. Like, what was that like for you in only your
Eighth
seventh
pro fight.
fight fighting outside the country.
Yeah. It's always a blessing being able to have these opportunities. Um, I would say in the moment, it was definitely a big adjustment I had to make, due to the time change and flying so far away from home. But in moments like that, I would say I embrace it a lot because this is the life that I wanted to live. This is why I work hard so that I could have opportunities like this. So, every time I think about it, a little bit of jet lag or things of that nature, it doesn't really get to me because like I like these moments. This is what I work for. So it was a hell of an experience being able to fight for the Misfits world title in Dubai on a big undercard. Um, and I'm just forever grateful to like have that experience.
Challenge when you're fighting overseas is always like, all right, you miss almost like a day and a half of weight training, weight cutting because you're on a plane, you get used to the time zone difference, and especially in Dubai, there's certain foods that probably aren't available or certain things. So for you, how much do you look at that fight and like, okay, I had to adjust things to get used to traveling overseas, maybe losing a day or two of training, weight cutting that I usually don't have when I'm fighting in the United States?
It was easy to adjust, to be honest. I would say the first day I slept a lot. I woke up, did a little bit of training, hit the pads for a little bit to like maintain my sharpness. But other than that, I think, I took a few melatonins to catch up on sleep, and then I was pretty much acclimated with like the time adjustment and everything.
If you're just tuning in, once again, we got David Lopez here on the show. We're talking all things, of course, his June 19th fight. We're talking his last win on Misfits Boxing Dubai. Why Misfits Boxing? I mean, there's a lot of promotions. A lot of people I know wanted your services. What was it about Misfits Boxing, though, that you and your dad and your team went, okay, you're our promoter for right now. You're the guys that we're trusting.
Um, we got to work with them beforehand, so my stablemate Anthony Taylor was with Misfits. Remu, he was with Misfits, and I got to see in 4K like how things operate and how they take care of their fighters, how the shows are put together, and for me, it just felt like a great fit. Being able to travel and fight across the world and grow my name, you know, outside of the Bay Area, locally, as far as that. And after talking with my dad and weighing out all the options, we figured Misfits would be the best fit.
They are a promotion that, deals with a lot of, YouTubers, celebrity influencers. That's the new way of boxing, the new way of any sports now. It's you're living online, unfortunately, whether it's right or wrong, that's how it is. You mentioned
Mhm.
earlier, you try to keep a clean, healthy lifestyle mentally and physically. How do you balance that with social media, which you need to build your brand, but social media, yeah, as we all know, is sort of, well, it's like a
It could
flea
be a
market. You're
toxic
never sure
environment
what the hell you're gonna
sometimes.
get in it.
Yeah. Um, I would say just being in tune with myself and knowing who I am and what I stand for, and not letting critics and outsiders have any type of, say over my mental being or my health or, what I'm doing. A lot of people that are, a lot of people that have anything to say derogatory wise or negative about me on social media have nothing going for themselves most of the times, or it's like a fake account. So, as I like progress through my career, I just learned to kind of just disengage and not even interact with those people. You kind of just pay them no mind. I just see them as bots. If anything, I appreciate them because like they're engaging on my content and it's helping me. So I see it as a win.
How tough was that, man? How tough was the development mentality? Because most people, you've seen it, somebody says something to you, somebody says a remark, and you want to fire back. And
Yeah, a lot of people get rage baited, but with me, I'm all about keeping my peace. So just not engaging. Like I said, a lot of people, it's probably like a 12-year-old or like somebody who might not, fully be there, mentally, or might be going through something in life and they're trying to project onto you. So, you just gotta not pay people no mind. You don't give them the reaction that they're looking for.
how tough is it being you in terms of you see what goes on, and there's almost becoming like a pro wrestling, sort of personality with all fighters because hey, controversy sells, trash talk is, everybody loves the bad guy, and we've seen people get almost too much into a character. How do you figure, for you, how do you figure, okay, this one I'm gonna talk trash, this one I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna all of a sudden be like this persona just so that I can sell tickets.
I feel like when you just be your authentic self, um, a certain crowd of people who relate to you will gravitate toward you, and they'll get inspired by what you're doing because you're just being yourself. I feel like when you put on a facade or you put on a front to try and like, I don't know, gain fans, like it could come off as corny. And that's never like, that's not the kind of image that I want to have. Like I just want to be my genuine, authentic self. And I don't ever want to have to like compromise like my character or like the things that I stand for to try and please other people. So just being myself, man. Like you can never go wrong with being yourself. And at the end of the day, as long as you're a hell of a fighter and you put on spectacular performances, people will gravitate to that. All the outside chaos and all the extra stuff, half the time it's not even needed. You just got to be a great fighter.
So, what is your brand then? Because again, this is the new era where social media plays a big part in selling you, selling your brand, and everybody's trying to figure out who they are, how they want to present themselves. As you said, be yourself, be real. So, who is Dynamite David Lopez? Like, if somebody said to you, "Why should I care about him? Why should I follow him?" Like, how? What is it about you that that would make people, I guess, gravitate to you?
Me being my genuine self and proving to fighters that you can make it you can make it through whatever as long as you put the work in. Like I want to be that guy that gives people hope. I want to be the guy that motivates people. I don't want to be the guy that's a clown and causes a circus and does all the extra stuff. Like for instance, when I post on social media, a lot of times it's super sharp training clips of me punching the bag, shadow boxing, jump roping. They see content of me focus in the gym, perfecting and dedicating myself to my craft. So just being a motivating person, somebody that like kids could look up to, and being a great role model. That's like the image that I want to take on, and that's what I want to stand for. Being a traditional, respectable fighter.
All comes back to June 19th, and as we talked about, like every fight it gets tougher because guys start seeing who you are. Like Joey Barrero's looking, going, "Hey, if I beat David Lopez, I'll make a name for myself. I might get you signed to a promoter. I might get back on the zone." And each fighter starts game planning for you. Each fighter tries to find holes. Like for you, how tough is this fight where you realize, all right, I can't sneak up on this kid. You probably saw the Garcia fight. He probably knows what I can do. He's going to bring his best. Like, how tough is it for you trying to go be almost perfect in every fight, knowing that they're going to be try to be perfect?
Uh, Me and my dad always tells me, don't overlook any of your opponents. Whether their record is 5 wins with 20 losses, 3 wins with 1 loss, no matter who it is, we don't overlook anybody. We see everybody as they would view Terrence Crawford or a world champion. We come into the ring with respect for each fighter. So I feel like when you have that mentality, you train properly and you take care of yourself and you take this person serious because they're a threat. And when somebody's a threat to you, I feel like that's dangerous because you take them serious. You don't see them as a joke. So just taking every fight serious and taking every fighter serious and not putting nothing past anybody.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are proud to have on the show. He'll be fighting June 19th on DAZN at Thunder Studios, Long Beach, California. I give you once again, it's Dynamite, David Lopez. David, before we let you go, so where can fans check you out at? Where is the Instagram, VX? I'm guessing there's a website. And who are the sponsors going to be for this fight coming up once again on June 19th?
You can follow me on Instagram at Dynamite Lopez _. The same goes for my TikTok and my Twitter. Um, As far as my sponsors, I'll have them all posted up on Instagram leading up to my fight. I'll end up making a highlight for people to see, all the businesses and people that I work with leading up to camp to help me prepare for my fights.
Dynamite David Lopez, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always honor, pleasure having you on the show. We come back. We got a lot more going on here, only on this last call. Last call, the alcohol, only on the lastcallpodcast.com.